He's got worms. He's got flies. One of my favorite fishing stories is this. So Kurt, my friend Kurt, he was a zone leader on my mission. He would go with our families would go, and us as friends would go to the Green River fishing right there at the bottom of the Flaming Gorge Dam. We would jump in a raft and we'd float down to Little Hole, I believe it was 3 to 7 miles. I think it was like 7 miles down the river. We'd float down there and we'd fish. Well, anyway, we were there fishing. One of the first times we were fishing in the summer, probably June or July, and these guys came by and they were catching all kinds of fish, and we were not catching any fish whatsoever. It was horrible. So I just asked them. I says, "Hey, what are you guys using?" They go, "We're using rubber worms." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Where do you get those?" And they go, "Up there, just below by the store, up by Flaming Gorge. I think it's called Dutch John or something like that. But anyway, that's where you get them, at this store." So we went up and we bought these. They had little night crawlers and they had big night crawlers. We got the big ones, and we put those on our. They were rubber, and we put them on our hooks. We hooked them on in a matter. Probably asked the people, "How do you do it?" Things like that. That's how I am. I try to get curious and ask. And so we started catching tons of fish. Tons of fish. We couldn't keep them off our line. We caught so many fish you can't even believe it. I mean, big, huge browns. The browns would, as we go through the rapids, the little shallows, the browns would just jump on those worms so quick. Oh, it was so awesome. Well, anyway, we're sitting there fishing, and some guys come by and they're drinking beer, and they go, "Hey, what you guys using? Because we're catching all kinds of fish." And I said, "Rubber worms." And they go, "Ah, bull crap." And they kept on going. I'm like, "Well, we tried to tell you what we were catching them on." Okay, now fast forward a few years, we're jumping into the raft again right below the dam, and we get in and we got our rubber worms on our fishing lines, and so real worms are illegal at the Green River. You can't use live bait, but artificial bait or artificial lures you can use. So we had our worms hooked on, or we were hooking our worms. I can't remember what we were doing. I think we probably had them hooked on. They were already on the hook. We get in the raft, and there's this other boat, these like pontoon boats, and there's this guide, a guide or two with some fishermen, and there was one fisherman in there, and he looked over at us and he said to his guy, he goes, "They got worms." And I'm like, because he didn't understand. I'm sure he didn't realize that they were rubber worms. Anyway, kind of annoyed me, and he's a fly fisherman. Fly fishermen, they kind of think they're like 4 steps above or better than bait fishermen. And it is. It's a tougher skill to master, I'm sure. But it's still fun. Fishing's fishing, however you want to do it. Anyway, we have rubber worms on our lines, and this guy kept saying, "He's got worms, he's got worms," and I think the guide's kind of ignoring him a little bit. And then pretty soon I started pissing me off, so I says, "He's got flies, he's got flies, he's got worms, he's got flies, he's got worms, he's got flies." And then finally the guide said, "Did we come here to fish or to argue about bait?" Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I says, "Hey man, we came here to fish." This guy was trying to kind of be nosy in our boat, which is okay, I suppose, but it just kind of pissed me off. I was glad I was there so I could chew him out a little bit.